So you're trying to learn how to make beats like YEAT off of his new project Lifestyle. In today's video, I'm about to show you exactly how to do that. Yo, what's good, y'all? It's Six. Welcome back to another video. All right, so this is the beat that we're breaking down today. If you already heard the song Be Quiet with Kodak, you would know that this beat sounds very similar to that song. And that's a song that I'm going to be referencing for today's video. But before we start, most of y'all are not subscribed. So if y'all could just subscribe with the notification bell on and hit that like button, it really helps. But anyway, let's get right into it. So for this beat, I mainly have been using this kit. If you don't know who DeWizard is, he's a fire producer and I pretty much only use his kits, him and DB. But anyway, he just dropped a new kit called Massive Flesh 2 and it's so fire. Like I pretty much just use this kit to make the whole beat. I noticed on the track Be Quiet, it's sort of almost like a Memphis melody because the piano is like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of Memphis a little bit. I don't know why, but basically the piano is like starting high, then going down, and then going a note up, and it's kind of creating this catchy rhythm. I'm gonna just play this. This is like the bass. This is kind of what I started with, and then I'm gonna just build on top of it. And if you notice this little note right here at the end, if you listen to the song, there's kind of like a stutter between when it repeats again. So I just added that. And for this sound, I used the Dr. Hoyd key out of the one shot section. Moving on, I added this horn because it complements the key right here. So if you see, this is hitting a D sharp, right? And it keeps hitting a D sharp. But if I go to this horn, it keeps hitting the D sharp on the same exact time that the key is hitting D sharp. So it's almost like enhancing it and it's just adding more energy. So I'm gonna play that for y'all. And also look, there's 2 octaves of this. But if I select these top notes and you see the velocity down here, you can see that the velocity is lower than these notes. And that's just because I didn't want the high notes to like overbear. It was kind of just like too much, so I just turned it down a little bit. And the horn is from the 3rd drum kit. Yes, I said 3rd drum kit. There have 3 drum kits within this pack. It's crazy. There's like a retro drum kit, all retro stuff, fire. And then there's like a vintage one. You can see it's like 1980, 1994, and then present day. And there's just a bunch of sounds in here. But yeah, that's where I got the horn from. It's right here, horn number 1. Hard. I noticed on the track Be Quiet, there's this high-pitched arp that's just creating a dope ambience in the background, and it just adds so much energy to the track. So all I did was I grabbed one of the synths called Heartpool Synth out of the one shots. Here's what that sounds like. What I did was I played it in a really high octave because I noticed on the track it's a really high octave. But yeah, this is what that sounds like. That's just adding a bunch of ambience and like energy to the track. If you're wondering like what's the theory behind these notes, it's really just these 2 tension notes right here. And you could say, oh, this is out of the scale, but this is sort of kind of like Memphis. And in Memphis, they like to do, it's the root note and then you just go 1 key up. It's technically not in key, but it is in key. It's in the Dorian scale. But yeah, and then I just placed 1 high note and I really just did it by ear. Like there's no theory behind this G note right here. I just heard, I was honestly just playing with the notes going up and down until I found a note that sounds right. So you really got to just play with it. Moving on, I'm going to skip all the way to this pre-chorus right here. And the reason I'm skipping is because I'm going to go back to the drums because I want to do the melody first and then I'll do the drums. But yeah, I added this bass out of the retro drum kit and it's just bass number 1. Just a solid bass. And I literally just copied the same chords from the key. As you see, I just switched to the key. It's exactly the same. Switched back to the bass. It's exactly the same. So that's all I did. I just copied the key progression right onto the bass. So here's what that sounds like. I added this pluck to kind of switch things up a little bit for the pre-chorus to not make it boring and, you know, just give variety to the track. So I went to the keys one shot and I picked out this Hills Have Eyes pluck. Here's what that sounds like. And then this is what I played. So the theory behind this, as you see, it's literally just the root note. Then I go up an octave, still the root note. Then I go to the D sharp, which is one note above. It repeats again after 2 bars. These entire 4 bars, just I duplicate them over, but then I just pitched up an octave. Really not much going on, but I did add this G note on the second part to just kind of switch things up. I didn't add the G note on the first part, but on the second part, I just heard it. You know what I mean? I just wanted to add something extra on the second part. And before we get to the drums, there is variety between these patterns. So when it goes from the intro to the chorus, if I go to these horns right here, you can see I added this note right here, like way up. I'm gonna just play it so you guys can get an idea. It just gives it way more of a bounce once the beat actually drops, you know what I mean? So that repeats the whole chorus, the horn going up like that. Then once it gets to the verse, it goes to pattern 1 and the horn goes back to normal. And this time it's just single octave. It's not even a double octave. And also, since I added this intro, like the beat just comes in straight away. I felt like I shouldn't have 16 bars of verse, since like technically they could just immediately come in, you know what I mean? So right after this pattern, it goes straight to the pre-chorus. The whole track loops again. And then there's one more chorus at the end. There is one more melody that I added. It's a starter from Dude Clay. Shout out Clay, that's my guy. I did flip it a little bit, you know, I reversed it, pitched it up, and then it looks like I put it on a track. Yep, I put halftime on it, cut out the lows, and this is what that sounds like. And I only have this playing on each of the verse, like right before the pre-chorus comes in. Once again, to keep things interesting and switch it up, because if you listen to a lot of his tracks, like the beat just like continues to progress and like always switch up. The beat is never the same thing the literally entire time. Like some of his songs, yeah, it could be the same thing the whole time. A lot of time, the melody has a good amount of stuff going on. Not too much, but it's interesting. All right, that's it for the melody. Let's go to the drums. So for the hi-hat, it's just a simple 2-step. That's what they did on Be Quiet. It's just a simple 2-step. There's really no need to even play this. You know what a 2-step sounds like. And then for the snare, it's also just a simple snare, literally just doing the same thing, because that's what they did, and I'm referencing that track, so I'm just keeping it simple. Hitting on the 3 and 7. Then for the 808, I literally just copied the key, put the same progression from the key. I cut up the 808 a little bit to obviously give it a bounce, because you don't want to just hit one time. But anyway, this is what that sounds like. Hella simple, hella simple. And as you see, it has that stutter at the end because that's what they did. Moving on, I added this laser right here, and it's really just acting kind of like an accent snare, but I did with the laser instead. So this is what that sounds like. Simple, just giving extra rhythm. And then moving on to the open hat, I noticed their open hat isn't just hitting on the 808s. Usually people put their open hats like to accent the 808 and make the 808 hit more. But I noticed in their track, the open hat kind of hits kind of off. I'll just show you what I mean. It's like going from the open hat to the zap, because they kind of are the same offset. Like if you look at the zap, it's also offset by 1 to the right, and then you go to the open hat, it's just over a bar. So it's just kind of accenting each other. It's going back and forth. It's kind of like playing a ping pong, like they're just bouncing off each other, and it adds a cool bounce. And once again, all these drum sounds are from the Master Flush kit. If you want to get this kit, I'm gonna have a link in the description. You can use my code Robert6 for 10% off. Definitely go get this. I haven't really seen a kit like this, especially 3 drum kits in 1+1 shots, and they got samples. Like, it's crazy. And I'm not just saying that, like as you see, look, I got the Wizard right here. This is probably my favorite drum kit of all time. Another one, the Wizard, right? The Wizard. Like, I have a lot of his kits. I love the Wizard stuff in DB, but this one is with Brendan Knight. But yeah, definitely get that. So for the main key that I showed you, I put some Valhalla on it, and I mixed it in about 29%. Then I put some compression on it, and I mixed it in about 47%. And the compression is to bring up the tail end of the reverb and to just help it be more full. And then obviously I did a low cut because I don't want that to be like too muddy, you know, the reverb and stuff. Then for this ARP right here, I routed it to a track and I put Portal on it. I used my own Portal preset for this out of my Portal kit, Synth World. It's actually a multi-kit and it's free right now until the end of the year. So if you want to get that, I'll leave a link in the description for that too. As you see, there's a bunch of accents. There's some bass one-shots in here. There's even MIDI for drums. There's a whole bunch of phrases in here in the Portal bank. And I recorded all the sounds on my synth right here, all royalty free. And once again, it's free till the end of the year. So link in the description for that. Okay, there is here's another thing I want to add. You see at the intro right here, I kind of dropped it out, and that's to help transition it. And that's to help transition it from the intro into the chorus. That helps not only the artist know when they're supposed to come in on the beat, but also helps the listener like, oh, it's about to drop. You know what I mean? So it's important to add things like that. So I routed all the melodies to one track. And if you don't know how to do that in FL, you hold Control or Command and you just left click drag all the tracks you want. Then at the bottom, at the route, you press right click, and then you press route to this track only. Then all I did was put a low cut EQ. Then this mix knob right here, I clicked right click, and then I did create automation clip. Basically for the pre-chorus where the bass comes in, I let all the bass frequencies of the melodies come back. Then once the drums come back in with the 808, I have the EQ turned back on, and that's just to make sure there's no muddiness interfering with the 808, keeping your track clean whenever the 808's coming in. But yeah, okay, that's the final. Drop a like, it really helps out the video, and subscribe with the notification bell on so you don't miss any sauce. And also let me know in the comments what tutorial you want to see next. It's been 6. Peace out, y'all.